Blessings. Welcome to today's daily devotional. Our read today is First Chronicles, chapters 27 through 29. Hope you got a chance to get a good look at it, a good read before we get started. Today's law enforcement takeaway, just going through the chapters, kind of a review. 27, David is kind of taking stock, listing all his administrative responsibilities that he's handed out, kind of like in the last couple of days when we've looked at the Levites and the priest and what their responsibilities and duties were, and how God is very involved in the minute details. David continues that thought today. He lists, there's 12 tribes of Israel, and each month one tribe would kind of be the standing army. If you were in the army and you weren't engaged in a war with the Philistines or whoever you were fighting at the time, you only were responsible for coming in 1 month out of the year, and that month you would be in Jerusalem. And each tribe sent 24,000 soldiers as a standing army during peacetime. Anyway, David goes through and lists all the commanders, which is a really cool list to see which one of David's mighty men were in that list, which ones look like they kind of retired after all the battles were done. It's really neat to look at. But there's one verse that really stood out to me that I want to talk about today. And in the midst of all these duties and responsibilities, and I mean, he's listing the soldiers that are in charge of his flocks, the soldiers that are in charge of his cattle, the ones that are in charge of all his property. And he really gets detailed into what the responsibilities were and who was responsible for them. But in the midst of this, in one verse, it says, and Hushai, 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 was David's friend. Now this is a guy that we saw just a couple of days ago in our read when Absalom was trying to stage a coup, a revolt. This is the guy that in First Chronicles it also said he was David's friend, but David sends him back to frustrate the council and to get them to make some bad decisions, which would throw them into a little chaos and give David a military advantage, which he took full advantage of and gets the kingdom back. But I just think it's really interesting that he mentions this guy, and the only thing he says about him, he says he's his friend. David remembered to mention his friend. And I hope that you have a friend like that. I hope you have a good, strong Christian brother that you can lean on, rely on, trust, that you can share stories of what God's done in your life with each other and just build each other up. I've got a friend like that, and very grateful to have him. And if I was going back and chronicling all of my life, I would mention him as a friend. I've got a couple of friends like that. So anyway, tomorrow's read is Psalms 5, 6, and 7, 10, 11, 13, and 17. A lot of Psalms, but they're all just short. It won't take you a lot of time to read through them all, but read them. Come prepared tomorrow, and let's have another discussion of God's Word and how it applies to law enforcement. Be safe.